ahead, Chance.
If you change your mind, take a chance on the first in line. Take a chance, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go, you treat it down. If you're all alone with a pretty bird, honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. Gonna do my very best, and it ain't no lie. If you put me to the test, if you let me try, take a chance on me. Take a chance on me.
Okay, guys, here we go.
Hey, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're listening to Hamilton Network, and that's the bottom line because I said so.
Stone Cold said so. Hey, I believe Stone Cold. Welcome, everybody. This is Chance's Chat. Of course, I'm Doc G. I have Chance, Fascinating Brian, and this may be for entertainment purposes only, but it may also not be. Welcome to Chance's Chat. This is Chance McFadden today, as you know him as Chance. Go ahead, Chance.
Hi, guys. Listen. Wow, it's been a crazy week, and it's getting crazier. And the movie is starting the after movie, I guess we should call it. Which, just remember, it's all a psych op, okay? But I found something interesting that's going on. You know about the. I'm not going to talk about the movie too much because it's just a bunch of crap. But I found it interesting that. Hello, Monique. Hello, everyone. I found it interesting that they hired 6,000 U.S. Marshals and they hired 200 additional Washington, D.C. City Police. Hi, guys. Hi, Jeff, everyone. Betty, hi. Now, why do I find that interesting? Because, and then they've got the barricades all up and they have all the buses and they're setting the stage, but let's go back 2 years ago when they did this whole barricade and buses again. And we had on-street journalists taking videos, and we actually saw children and ambulances and police officers and adults and women coming out of the White House because we knew that there was an underground bunker. 520-7418. That's everybody's number tonight, okay? Blessing and abundance to us all, absolutely. So they brought all these people up, and then they moved them away in buses. Do you remember that? Hey, honey, man. Okay, they moved them away in buses. You remember all that? Okay, I do. And that was a couple years ago. Okay. So why the big hoopla? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, and nobody else is going to tell you this because I got it straight from the horse's mouth. Okay. Tomorrow, Congress is no longer in session. Are you aware of that? Members of Congress cannot be arrested while it's in session. So the arrests that you may or may not see are made public during the EAS, however they're going to do it, is for the normies, because most of those people have already privately been arrested, and guess where they've been held? In the basement structures where they were holding all the children. Okay? That's where all the real Michael, Speaker of the House, what's his last name? Johnson? Michael Johnson. The real Michael Johnson, who is 5 inches taller than the one version we're looking at right now, is in there. And so it's time to set the stage for the mass arrests. And this, I think, is going to trigger the EAS within probably 5 to 7 days. Okay? Now, so isn't it ironic that all these pedo people had a bunker underneath the White House and they're now that same bunker is the prison for the pedos and the actors that's replaced them. The actors that replaced them are wearing the masks and playing the roles. Okay, well, Brandon's gone. And Arthur, what's his name, who was playing the part of Brandon, he's gone on back to his life. He's gotten his big payday, his big paycheck. And now they're saying from my contacts that he's gone, that he's dead. Well, we know the real Joe Biden died in 2018, so it's all good. Shadell Sting says, for your information, Houston had a major arrest operation yesterday and was even on the local news. They had to use the NRG Stadium for the arrest. Wow.
Thanks for sharing that, Bill.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to do some research on that because that sounds like a fun time to me. Okay. I could just sit back and, yeah, go. Okay. So, they're setting the stage. Okay. And, I heard from a real good source, that there's only 2 or 3% of Congress that aren't going to be arrested. So, I don't know how many that is. I don't care. I don't get myself involved in these politics. Republic politics, that common law politics, I'll get involved in. But otherwise, I don't want to because I don't speak legalese, and I don't cast spells. Okay, I don't cast spells. And if I am casting any spells with the language that I'm using, I apologize, and I will try to correct it whenever I can. And as long as you understand that, you're good. You got that? I know Maria 1 got that. Okay. Only about 6 people. All right. Gosh, I love it when people put stuff on the screen. I love that. That interaction is so much fun, and it's different kind of interaction than when we have the Telegram channels. Fascinating Brian is here. What has been going on in your world, Fascinating?
Let's see. I think I only got 2 hours of sleep last night, and I just kind of laid there until morning, and then I got up, and I still felt refreshed, which was weird. All I could say is I've got a lot to say for like all the people that are paying attention and not paying attention. And I also want to give some clarity as to word structure and trying to re-educate yourself in how to format language, right? Because I've also noticed that a lot of people are misinterpreting what Chance is saying, even though everyone should know that he's transparent. And because he's transparent, it's kind of a double-edged sword for him on his journey because he's taken in energies he may not understand. And he's also having to deal with things that aren't necessarily on the physical side, but also on the astral side or spirit side, which do tend to influence everybody and do try to take advantage of good-natured people. So what I wanted to, and I did bring to his attention last week, that for a better embodiment of transparency, he could say, and again, it's depending if you understand language and structure. In my opinion, I am the only one who's got a greater caliber. We're going to go with caliber of intel because it's true. So he's got a greater caliber of intel because it's synchronicity. It is part of his journey. It's part of your journey to witness and understand that there are formulas that people just don't understand when it comes to energy. But at the same time, you're in a school, right? So you got to learn a lot of hard lessons. You got to learn to set your own terms and conditions, your stage. You also have to relearn to restructure language. And many of you misinterpret what he says and thinking it's maybe narcissistic. Maybe there's a bit of ego in it because he says what he says, but it still represents transparency because he does say, and is embodied statement at the very beginning of the show a lot of times, I'm here, I'm out here, I'm transparent. Just because he says a phrase where it's, I'm the only one giving you this real news, you are still missing the formula and still attaching labels. Those of you that don't understand the concept of language. So it's something that the individual has to work on. He knows he needs to work on his version as well to make sure he maintains his transparency. So that is just one thing I wanted to bring to the table, where people need to be aware of structured language and practice thinking before being triggered by it or emotionally off-put. Think about it for a sec before you judge internally, and know if you can read energy like I can from speech patterns, from frequency and energy, his is very transparent. And if you can't, then you got to analyze the language. And I'll leave the next segment for later.
All right.
I just wanted to.
It's always enlightening because my grandson who lives here with me, he says, I could just listen to that guy all day. Man, he's got the calmest voice. He says, I could just listen to him all day. And he doesn't understand what you're saying, but he just loves the way you say it, brother.
Thanks.
Sharon, hi. Sharon, how are you, dear? God bless you and your daughter. I want to, I'm going to be giving the RV update from the intake officer at the end of the show, last 5 minutes, because, finally got on. There's Jerry. All right. Gerald's in the house, rocking it. All right. Gerald's my brother from another mother. He's my brother that went to high school in Pennsylvania, and I'm in Illinois, so he's a good dude. He's a good dude. And Miss Tammy, yeah, blessings to Miss Tammy, always, to both of you. Guys, I was telling Doc G before the show started, I was very blessed this week by 3 of you who engaged me to do legal and lawful work for them. And I'm just about got everything caught up that I was working on. Okay. I got a few bits and pieces I got to work on tomorrow. But listen, I can't help you with foreclosures unless you want to get an express trust. And I don't want you to get an express trust unless you are ready to learn what's in the trust and be able to defend the trust yourself, because it's not a silver bullet, but it changes your status. Number 1, it changes your status. Number 2, it puts you in charge of the straw man and not the courts. And number 3, it gives you all the tools to defend it. Okay? All you have to do is understand the trust. Read the trust. That's where the lessons are in the trust. Okay? So all you have to do is learn the language in the trust. You'll be able to go to any court and you'll be able to defend it. And this is why you got to be your own superhero. You got to put on your own cape, guys. I can't save everybody. But if you do need some legal work or lawful work done, if you do need if you're not behind on your house payments, you're having problems, we have just posted on Chance's live chat group 2. We have just posted, with the help of Data Scanner, my wonderful friend, and by the way, he is a starseed, and we have just posted a promissory note, very strong legal and lawful language that should help you in putting off any bills. Now, I said should because, remember, we're still in a time of war with the Admiralty courts, the Maritime Equity courts. We're still in a time of war with them. They have been victimizing all of us, we the people, okay? I wonder what I'd look like with a facelift. Does that look younger? You know? Do I look younger there? 40, 70, 40, 70. I've just tried to break the mood a little bit, not trying to be so serious. But, if you can't make fun of yourself, who can,
That's so true.
Anyway, because I sit here to look at the computer screen, and I try to concentrate on Brian and Doc, but I don't know why I keep my eyes just go towards my, you look that bad? You're having a bad hair day? I don't know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be paying attention to that. Anyway, if you need any work done, okay, I had a lady call me today. I'm not going to mention her name. She's very, very nice. And I'm going to write her a response to the IRS. No, it's not to the IRS, to Social Security. Social Security said, now listen to this. I want you to figure out how crooked of an organization this is. Because when you understand this, okay, then you're going to realize that my outside of the box thinking actually works on this, okay? Well, we'll just call her Miss Jane. Miss Jane, it's come to our attention that we have overpaid you $9,000 some on your Social Security benefits, and we are going to give you till blah, blah, blah to repay it 4 months ahead. And now, wait a minute. How can they overpay her if that's her money? It was paid into her account. How do you figure that? Oh, I didn't know that they were the executor of her estate, because if she files the right papers and does the right thing, she could take over that estate. Okay, but anyway, so I told her not to. This is the advice I gave her, and I think it's pretty sound advice. I said, first of all, we've got 3 months, so we're going to wait 30 days, and on the 30 days before they want their payment and they start their little proceedings, what you're going to do is we're going to compose a letter. I'm going to compose it for her, and it's basically going to say, we don't trust you. Under advice of my lawyer, we don't trust you. We don't trust your bookkeeping, and we don't think you're being a good administrator, because all funds are my money anyway. So what we would like for you to do is give us a full forensic audit from an independent financial source. Oh, that's going to blow their stinking minds. Why is that? An independent audit costs thousands and thousands of dollars, and they would have to go back through years and years of records. And she has the right to ask for that audit under the UCC laws. Okay? Now, that's going to blow their mind. So all of a sudden, her thing at the end of the year is going to be, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to have to pay this. Oh, well, we're supposed to be collecting money. We're not supposed to be spending it out. Oh, no. And once you become a liability to the government and not an asset, they'll quit picking on you. Okay?
They'll throw the case out, is what they're going to do.
Exactly, because it's her money anyway.
It'll be within a week. So I think what's fascinating about this, because this is happening all over the place, but also at the same time, a lot of these agencies are kind of like double identity. So it's like one state changes their formatting and it is for the human, and then somehow another state with the same identity, same title, has the same formatting but more nefarious, and they're like, oh, we can't have this, we need to reclaim that money back. So that's what you're getting. You're getting like the light side, which is giving you what you're supposed to have, and then the dark side trying to pull it back in as a money grab. So this is kind of very problematic now, and it's like that with everything. So you really are going to have to just be extra observant on paying things back. It's crazy. Even like with taxes, a lot of people are like, 30,000 here, 20,000 here, and they're like, well, I don't have that, but they're not necessarily legitimate in like all structures. So it's really, really awful.
I don't have the letter, Brian. I want to make a case in point on what you're saying, how much this is actually going on right now during this transitional financial period. But my son has been sick for a while, and he hasn't worked in quite a few years, about 7 years, and they got a thing. I got a thing from the IRS that said he owed $32,000 from working 4 or 5 years ago.
That's gotta be a scam.
He wasn't even getting Social Security disability at the time. Okay, he had no income. Okay, so riddle me this, Batman. Where's this 32,000 come from? Oh, I know, from the imagination of the artificial intelligence program that's working as the Internal Revenue Service, and that's what it is. Okay, it's phenomenal. Oh, and here's another one. And I vetted this one myself. He also got a bill for $1,600 from the Iowa State Treasurer's Office, and it had all the official logos and all the correct phone numbers and email addresses and everything. And they even had a case number that he owed $1,600. So I called the Department of Revenue, and I said, I'm calling for my son. I'm his advocate. And give him all the information. And I said, here is the case number that you guys say that he owes $1,600. And I've done this twice. I actually get a kick out of doing it. I might do it again and record it. But I've done this twice. And they said, well, sir, there's no case number like that. And I said, well, what about my son's Social Security number? I said, did you see anything that he owes anything to the state or anything? No, he has no financial responsibilities to the state at all. And I said, okay. Now what that whole thing was a scam. The letter and everything, the print and everything. But what they wanted him to do was to put his credit card number in and put it in and mail it into an envelope. Okay. I might not have been born yesterday, but I ain't that dumb. Okay. And neither is he. And I showed Mickey the $32,000 IRS bill, and he goes, Dad, I didn't work that year or any other year, even 2 or 3 years before that. And I said, I know. That's the point. That's why this scamming is going on all over the place. It's unbelievable.
It's dead last. They'll take care of that dead last because it's not as important as, getting rid of the garbage people.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of garbage people going down right now. There's a lot of garbage people going down right now. Okay. Just and low vibration people, very, very low vibration people are leaving. Point in check. The guy here in town, His real name was Kevin, but we called him Crack Monkey because he would dance around from house to house. From he didn't have any friends, but he had acquaintances, and he'd dance around from acquaintance to acquaintance, and he'd say, "Well, if you loan me $200, I'll pay you back $400 next month." And he usually would, because he got a huge Navy pension. It's like $4,500 a month, and he always paid everybody back except me. He didn't pay me back. But anyway, it's okay. It's all right. It's his journey. He's going to have to deal with it. But you want to talk about low vibration? There you go. Now, there's another guy here in town whose dad, I'll just call him DJ. DJ was the dad of a guy his son's name was also DJ. And guess what? They were both hardcore dopers. And one of her doper friends said, "Oh, I just can't believe you're gone." No, let's see, you're shooting dope, you're smoking crack, you're doing meth, who knows, you're probably inhaling banana peels if you can't find anything else. And he drops over dead at like 46 years old. And everybody's surprised. Oh my gosh, DJ died. Surprise! It's not a surprise. It's cleanup time. Okay? It's cleanup time. You just got to be observant of what's going on. I had a lady today send me some pictures of a guy messing with the utility box, the phone box. And she's a wonderful lady. And she got a picture. And there was two different guys at two different times came and messed with this utility box behind her, wherever she's living, apartment house or whatever. And she wanted to know what was going on. And I said, well, first of all, I can tell you this much. There is a business. It's an underground business, but there's some illegals that they've gone together, and a couple of them have gotten pretty smart, and they know how to hotwire these utility boxes so they can get free internet. Okay? You get free internet, you get free streaming then. And that's what I'm absolutely certain that's what they were doing. They were hotwiring the phone box, which a couple different utility companies use to. You've seen those metal boxes in the back by the alleys that nobody pays much attention to, and it's a pain in the ass to mow around. Okay, so, and I told her, I said that somebody's getting their internet hacked, and they're getting spliced onto it. It's a very, very easy thing to do. It's like 2 or 3 wires. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist. And they had a vest on, and they had a utility truck and everything. Okay, these are the kind of scams that are going on, guys. And so she was very astute by bringing this to my attention. And the only thing, she does have a VPN. Because guess what? Hardwiring into somebody else's internet is a very easy way to get into your computer unless you have a VPN. So if you have a VPN, they're not going to get in. Okay? They're not going to get into your information. But I do want to remind everybody that once Starlink is initiated, all your computers will be beautiful, beautiful bookends on the end, to keep your books up and everything, because your computers you're using now, they won't work. Just like your phones you're using now won't work. Now, if some people say they got a Q phone, maybe they do, and maybe they don't. I don't know. But I will tell you that Phil G said, if you've got an Android or an iPhone, you've already got a Q phone. Well, that means that they're going to change the programming or the apps or whatever. Well, it could be. I don't know. But everybody's telling me that the Q phone will replace everything. It will be no charge. You won't have to go through a phone provider like Mint Mobile or whoever you're using, Verizon or whatever. Those companies won't exist once the Starlink system gets out. Okay. So keep in mind, and talking about scams, this is something I want you all to listen very, very closely to me. I have a heightened sense of awareness. Granted, nowhere near the level as Fascinating Brian, whose level is through the chart. But I'm telling you, I got very strong spidey sense, or as I prefer to call it, my bullshit detector. And it's so heightened to the point that I could feel when there's a bad person coming up on me. And that's when I realized, when I was doing all this, learning all about vibrations and frequency and everything, I realized I'm an empath, because I could just look at a person and I could feel whether they're a good person or a bad person. And I could also feel whether they're healthy or sick. And so that has been part of the energy sucking vampires that have been working on me. But I do think this is part of my journey, and it's part of my education to know these things. And like today, this week was a great week overall. We had some bumps in the road, but we had a great week overall. And I was able to pay my bills with the jobs that I got hired to do for the legal and law practice. Okay. So you heard firefighters said that they heard yesterday only get a Q phone when we go to the med beds, 21 years only and up. Maybe. I don't know. And then just remember, the rumor mill runs deep. The bullshit runs deep. Okay. Just, I heard. And you may be right. I may be wrong, but I'm telling you the best information I get, and I got some pretty darn good sources. I got starseeds. I got a general. I got 2 other generals that have made contact with me through Facebook. So I'm treading very slowly with them. Yes, Lady Scott is right about that. Said the new computers are available at Best Buy and they are $1,000. That is true, Jenny. But the trouble is, you won't have to pay for it. Okay? You won't have to pay for it, because after you've done your currency exchange and you finally leave and you have your black card, your Q card or whatever, and you leave there, they're going to give you a certificate. You walk into Best Buy and they'll give you one of those computers. Okay? If you want to buy a second or a third one, that's your choice. But you're right about that. That is very good information. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it when somebody brings solid information forward. And I love it when you guys comment, because it gives me something to yay or nay. Not that I'm the expert of the world. I know what I know, and what I don't know is a lot. That's it. Okay. You could, we had a joke going on when my son and I used to go to guitar shows. It's like a flea market for musicians and guitars and stuff. And a small replicator after the med bed. Oh, well, I'm ready for that. Then I could have me a ham sandwich anytime I wanted to. Just replicate me up a little ham and cheese sandwich. Ham and cheese on rye with Swiss.
You don't want to do that. Sorry. That's like
I know about ham. I know. I listen to a lot of people take it all in. It's great that you do. I love it that you do it. Okay. If it happens, yeah, exactly. Firefighter, hey, we love your information. We love your input. Okay. But take everything with a grain of salt. And this is why the word of the decade is discernment. Use your discernment. If it feels right, then your spider sense is working. Okay. I don't want to call anybody a liar. Okay. I really don't. But boy, I'm going to tell you, You got a bunch of them on YouTube. I know I'm on YouTube right now, so I could be a liar too, but I'm telling you, some of the bullshit gets so incredibly deep. I think I'm going to need 2 pairs of boots. And in the new sequel to the movie, I thought this was over when the fat guy sang, but no, we still got the little tidbits like a Marvel movie where they put 2-minute segment in here and a 2-minute segment there. And you know what? And the geopolitical financial environment of the world seems to be fleeting in the movie because, what was the big thing 2 weeks ago? Trump's attempted assassination. Now it's Biden's gone. Now it's Harris. Oh, which clown is going to come to the forefront and do a little dance for you next? We don't know.
The clock. We're all we're on Q matrix. The Q matrix right now. That's what we are. And if you know what Q stands for 17. 17 also gematria. ET. It's ET that's in charge. So it's not the human. It's all interstellar BS, garbage, bull, and it's exhausting, is all I can say. And I hope they're listening because I've got a big bone to pick with all of them. And I do mean the Federation. And I don't care for the wordplay, Federation of Light, Federation of Love and Light, which is also garbage. Ashtar of Love and Command or whatever, also garbage. And I'm just going to be frank about how this idea and I have some very interesting guides. Sorry, Chance, I'm going to cut in. So my guides are kind of no nonsense. They are very Christ-like, but they also can walk the dark side if they want to. So they wanted me to bring to the people's attention, but I'm going to throw a statement out first. So, and this also applies to me. We are all, pay attention, please. We're all winners and we're all losers on this game board. Absolute truth. All of us are winners from time to time, but we probably lose a lot more than we win just because of how hard it is on a third dimensional game board. And the reason why this is the statement of the day, my guides wanted to bring this to the people's attention because many are disingenuous. They are doing a disservice to self. They aren't doing hard work spiritually, and they are more likely to be losers in the end. And I'm sure many of you are like, well, no, there's no such thing. I mean, spiritual people, they say we're all winners. And you know what they say, and I say to that? You're dumb for believing in them, and they're an idiot for even telling you that, because it's disingenuous. It's like saying, I'm going to give you a gold star and say we're all winners because you didn't do the hard work, but I'm going to give you a gold star because we're all a group. We're a collective. Yay. Love and light. No.
Go team.
Go team. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. It's not how reality is, even though a lot of people would choose to escape their own way. And I get it. It's not easy. It's hard. It's especially hard on starseeds versus people that are human, born young, consciously speaking, that have cycled very short lifespan on their own planet. So the reason why this is really important is you all need to figure out what you truly, truly want. And I do not mean from a physical, linear mentality. You have probably heard more often, and like a broken record, this is a spiritual warfare. Why the spiritual essence in warfare is extremely, extremely important. It's because of the trans-dimensional being that you are. You cannot fathom how transitional you are. Everyone shifts. So if everyone shifts, everyone pulls or gravitates and goes on their own yellow brick road. It's not everyone collectively walks on the same yellow brick road. It may look like it, but that's because the matrix shows you the illusion of it overlapping, which is why sometimes you may see someone next to you, and then another time they could just disappear off your pathway because you're not on the same yellow brick road. If you do none of your spiritual work, the RV is nothing. It's a nothing burger. It really is. You do not move forward because you don't have the spiritual awareness how to operate with a higher value, a higher caliber of value of awareness of what abundance means. But I don't mean physically, I mean spiritually. And when you continuously pay attention, again, you guys all seem to like the baby food. Sorry, that's their words, not mine. The baby food that you're getting on the TV. I'm going to give you an analogy. So many of you, we're in a restaurant. The restaurant has an indoor buffet. Many of you are on the sampler side, the platter side. The food's already out. So you're taking and putting little samples on all these little plates. It's on your tray, and you're there continuously sampling. There are very, very few people there on the buffet side, but there's one significant difference in the buffet side. There's no hot food there. It's all empty trays. They're actually waiting to have all that food come out at one time, fresh and hot. And they got one plate. That one plate, they're going to put all their favorite things on it. I hope you get this analogy, what I'm saying.
Yo, I get it.
That's the spiritual side of what they're waiting on versus the side that many of you are on the other. So you're going to miss an even greater opportunity, and it's just you reinventing you, re-identifying a greater caliber you. So you're going to need to pick, because energy is a universal constant. There is no stagnation. It does not stay in a single format. It is always transitional. You are also always transitional. You're going to go, and you cannot complain, even if you do have some type of, how would I say, RV moment. You get to play with it, but then suddenly something's not right. And you realize that maybe you're somewhere else. And I'm just saying transition, right? We're talking about game board changes. You could be on another 3D planet and not remember because you missed the opportunity to do work from the spiritual side so you could transfer over with many, many ideas of a higher value, including a lot of that material idea to play in a higher caliber realm. But you chose the other side. So this will be the last time, is what they're saying, I'm ever going to mention this, because the window is so short. You have no idea what next year is going to look like. It's going to be phenomenal, but it's going to be terrifying in a way that humans won't understand. But people that have witnessed ascension or have a feeling or an intuitiveness toward the idea, they kind of know what it's about or have been involved in it. So it's going to be very different. And it is going to get worse before the end of the year. But at the same time, they would also like to say, you're going to have this amazing opportunity to redefine you and get to know you before the end of the year. But also don't count on, if you are the bottom of the barrel type of person like me, again, I'm not in a group. I came in later in the game. Don't expect to have that physical abundance right then and ready. It could be at the beginning of next year. We don't know. But if you want to hyper focus on it to create more emotional resistance for your journey, you do you. So this is kind of like the final call. And after that, they don't care. They really don't care. They already know the percentage of the next class that does transfer over is actually very small. It is very, very small. And again, I don't know, but they've already given the opportunity for people to work on themselves over the last, I would say, 30 years. Dolores Cannon has talked about it. A bunch of other people have talked about ascension. So sorry, but not really. So you guys need to pick, because this year's going to fly by.
It already has. It already has.
And you may want to start rethinking ideas of the type of existence you intend to embody in that next now moment. Yeah. That's
excellent analogy, Brian. Excellent analogy.
Thank you.
That was very well put. It was just excellent. I would like to switch gears just a little bit. Doc, do you have any of the music that you've been working on and putting up on, what is it, Spotify?
Yeah, Spotify. Actually, Sound Exchange, TuneCore, and then Spotify. I'm loading up my artist personal profile.
Okay. If you have any links, can you put them over in the comments?
Yeah, let me go find them. I'll get them up, and go ahead, you talk, and I'll get them up, and I'll put them up there.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, because Doc's doing the AI music thing, and it's quite the deal. And just because we're not mentioning it a lot, I want you guys to start concentrating even more than we did originally with the 520-7418. Why is this important? Well, it'll help you manifest money. But the most important thing is the numbers add up in such a way that it comes out to the number 9. That's the number of completion. Very powerful number. And so the completion can be the completion of your financial status, the completion of your health problems, the completion of your housing problems, the completion of your food problems, completion of your illness. 520-7418. I've been saying it 10 times a day. You're not going to believe this, but my arthritis is starting to go away. And 520-7418. It's the number of this number 9 is the number of completion. Let's complete this. Let's complete this journey on this 3D planet. And for those of us that are ready, we will ascend when it is our time, if we are so chosen. if our vibrations are high enough, if our frequency is high enough, if you are reflecting on yourself enough, if you are trying to be the best you that you can be. I had a lady the other day. I get some cards in the mail with some donations in it once in a while, and I really appreciate that so much. But I had a lady that wrote me a letter. It was, you could tell she was in a hurry, and I don't like writing either. I'd rather type, but you could tell she wasn't too fond of writing because her scribbles, and then she forgot something, so she scribbled it on a napkin, and it was I just thought it was very endearing, and she was probably a very I just got energies off of it that was kind of a petite woman, and she put $10 in there for me, and she didn't put her name on it, no return address or nothing. I can't even say thank you, so I'm saying thank you now. Almost made me tear up because she kept writing in these notes about my music, and it was it was kind of an emotional thing for me. But anyway, that's sincerity. That's somebody that's looking beyond themselves. That's somebody that is willing to share what little bit that she has. Okay? And thank you, whoever you are. You didn't sign any papers, and there's no return address, but thank you, whoever you are, mystery lady. And God bless you. And it was so nice. It just touched my heart. And I get a lot of nice cards from a lot of people. I get cards from people in Minnesota, and Hey You Guys sends me really nice cards sometimes, and it makes me feel loved. It makes me feel loved, and I want to thank you all for that. So, with this in mind,
Chance, let me say this real quick. Spotify, somebody stole my account on Spotify already. I just made it a couple days ago. They already had a playlist for me, which I didn't even go on Spotify. So it's before I even began to put my songs on there. I'm trying to delete the playlist that's there because it's under somebody else, but it's under my name. Now, this is interesting because let me explain to you what I see is going on with the AI. And Brian could probably chime into this too. They're trying to sue the website, the AI website that everybody's using. We're talking about all musicians. They're trying to sue them for creative rights because they said that they borrowed their voices, the way they made their music, and all their other things, because the algorithm's got to learn other people's music to get the different genres and stuff going, right? So they want to sue the website. They're taking them to court, and it's the big ones like Warner Records, all them other ones that they're trying to make their own AI more easier for other people, but they're also trying to win a lawsuit. So they're trying to shut everybody else down is what they're doing. And creatively, I think that's a bad thing they're doing because AI gives us so much more expansion that we can do. However, the other side to this is what goes to the artist. Now, Chance, you know that. What goes to the artist? If they sue them, what is going to go to the artist that's creating the songs? Zero. Just like some of the other companies that are out there that do this, zero. So for the company to gain and sue an AI website, we'll do it, whatever you're going to do. But the point is there's going to be thousands of other ones after that. It's going to be like a loss going after somebody that are going to create more. because they know there's a lot of money behind it.
Right.
Your thoughts, guys?
It's going to change. It'll change. So the one that I have seen, it's actually, how would I say? It's actually part of the quantum system. So, and I'm not talking about the individual ones. It's like you can imagine, and believe me, I have seen it. I have lived it, and it's actually pretty cool. So, in a holistic society, in an interstellar society, it is just one super quantum artificial intelligence that's in charge. So, it's operating your ships, it's operating all the drones on your planet, it's real time, it can do holograms, you can be not only on the ship, you can also be on your planet at the same time. You just go into this little holographic room and it's as if you're there. It's one system that's in charge. And that one system also allows the individual, because it's a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
And do music. So this is where the creativity of the individual will be acknowledged, because work parameters is going to change. A lot of things will be different. So music, I think, is one of those things where I feel people aren't going to necessarily turn heavily into AI, because as an artist who can play an artifact, you would be like a superstar in space, like kind of like on the planet, except for galactically speaking, because you're using your hands, you're not using synthesizers or this and that, or just doing like beat mixes or whatever. No, it's very, very different. Now, when it comes to like augmented reality or virtual reality, you will do that too. And the military will use those also, like no end game scenarios for training. They'll use those too. So it's all going to be very universal, which is why I always like to encourage people, please visualize the highest caliber reality where there's less identities. So if there's less identities, that means that your society is more unified, right? So you collapse all the identities of Rockland Trust, BlackRock, Chase, this, and you just give them one simple name: wealth management centers. That's it. That's all they will ever be. They don't need to be or have any titles whatsoever. All car insurance identities, this will go away. Will there still be movie entertainment? Maybe. Actors? Maybe. Hey, Chance, your TV's kind of loud.
Party's TV, is that you, Chance? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you're going to find that the system is going to be very, very different. Clever, but also it's going to be for the human. So if you're going to think Terminator existence, that's on you. You go on a planet. If you want to be usurped by robots, by all means, you generate that energy, but that's not my version. So my version is Interstellar. It's for growth, and it's also not perfect by all means. I mean, not everything is perfect, but that's actually what I've seen. But also, you're going to be able to take advantage even with the like MedPod holographic adjustments. You want straighter teeth? You can have straighter teeth. You want an immaculate nose or a nice Spartan chin, you can do whatever you want. And that can be like be your own Ken and Barbie doll. So there are pros and cons to be having an interstellar lifestyle, but that's what you want to visualize. And of course, again, holistic, unified, futuristic, no planes. All the planes are gone. We'll have trains only. People will still use boats because they'll always want to do skiing or, go boating and fishing. So those will still be around. Cars will be automated. Again, the quantum system will run all the vehicles too. So it's interstellar. It's cool. And that's what you should be visualizing.
Well, Chance, your thoughts.
Okay. What's really funny, and I don't mean funny, haha, I mean funny like ironic. God gave me a gift to be able to, I could hear a song. Let's say the first time I heard Let It Be. Okay. I heard it. I figured out the chords as it was being played, because I know the piano that well. And of course I can't sing like the Beatles, but it would be a piece of cake for me to sit down and play, Let It Be. But the way my mind works must be partially very high advanced mathematically, because I could take the structure of that song and turn it inside out or sideways and make another song so similar to it that you would say, hey, that's kind of reminds me of, and it would, because I could do it. I literally sit there and done it to people. I got into an argument. I was in Austin, Texas, and I was doing an audition for a major recording group out of Texas, highly popular. I'm not going to mention the name because there's no sense in it, but I got into an argument with this big superstar in Japan. His name was Charlie. And I got into it with him, and he says, well, I work so hard just to write songs, and I struggle with it every day. And I said, well, writing a song's easy. For me, I said, I can, sit down at the piano and write a song right now. And he says, oh, you're Mr. Wonderful or something like that, said some kind of smart remark like that to me. And I said, yeah, just give me a subject, just give me a subject and I'll sit down and do it right now for you. I'll just, have to have a couple minutes of reflection of myself, but I can do it. And he says, well, if you're such a hot shot songwriter, he said, why don't you just, he says, I shouldn't have to give you a subject if you're such a hot shot songwriter. And I thought about what he said for a minute. I said, you just did. Okay. Now I'm not going to play it for you. My piano's way out of tune, but what I'm going to tell you is the lyrics. And I sat down at the piano and I wrote this. I shouldn't have to see you in this town, the way you turned my life upside down. I shouldn't have to live without your love. I shouldn't have to talk to our friends. I shouldn't have to walk where you have been. I shouldn't have to live without your love. Then the chorus goes, or the bridge goes, why can't you see? You mean everything to me. I shouldn't have to see your face at night, even though you're nowhere close in sight. I shouldn't have to live without your love. And by the way, if you have a guitar, that's in the key of A. I have perfect pitch, okay? So, and that guy, big superstar in Japan. I'm not going to mention his name, but if you guys know somebody in Texas, it's a big superstar in Japan, and you know who I'm talking about. He got so mad. He says, if you hire this Yankee, I'm quitting the band.
Oh.
And yes, I did record that song, and one of the guys that despises me in this state said it was the most beautiful song he had ever heard. And he despises me. So I think when this becomes a music show, I'll start offering my CDs for sale, because I would love to share my music with people. And I play all the instruments. I usually do all the background vocals, and I wrote a song called "Road Hard." Yeah, I hear you, Winona. I hear you.
Good
I wrote a
food.
song.
Good food.
Yeah, good food. I wrote a song called "Rode Hard and Put Away Wet," and it was kind of a true story, but it was kind of a satire too. And when I was recording, it was kind of interesting that I went like this, and I said, I need to put some background vocals behind the lead guitar, some oohs and ahs, but we only had one track. And for some reason, I was able to get one note out of one side of my mouth and another note out of the other side of my mouth. And Chuck Johnson, who was producing and running the recorder, he says, "How'd you do that?" No, you didn't miss the intel. We're saving it for the end. We're making you guys listen to our jibber jabber. Okay. He says, "How'd you do that? You got two tones." I said, "I don't know. I just thought I could do it. And I just did it." And so there are still guys around that can do that can hear a song. And I don't care what it is. I mean, Louie, or whatever, Van Morrison was a fantastic songwriter, and all his stuff was simple except for and when the background musicians, like on Brown Eyed Girl, they added a lot of stuff, but his songs were basically simple 3-chord. And talking about 3-chord songs, John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band, which did the soundtrack for all of the Eddie and the Cruisers movies too, the two of them. And they're talking about a third one. I don't know. I don't think Cafferty's recording anymore, so I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, Eddie and the Cruisers, every song they did was 3 chords. Every one. It was all 1, 3, 5. It wasn't 1, 5, 7, 9. It wasn't 1, 3, 5, 9. It was all 3 chords. It was 1, 3, 5. And that's all it was. Replicators. Oh my gosh. Now think about this. Let's talk about collectibles. You will be able to scan a collectible,
which won't be a collectible anymore.
and it will just absolutely ruin the market for collectibles.
It still will be, but it's not called a collectible. We call it a collectible. Anything that is planetary is considered collectible or novelty or whatever. That's the human. Interstellar beings call everything an artifact. Okay, so anything that is taken off planet is considered an artifact automatically. Doesn't matter if it's a soda. It doesn't even matter if it's a soda machine.
Right, but let me ask you a question, Brian. If you got a Ming Voss that's worth $10 million and you can copy it exactly, then what is it worth?
It's not a perfect copy. Energetically speaking, it is a variant of its own solid state matter. But I will tell you this. So imagine you had, let's say, a #1 Spider-Man. So it's got CGC, which is, grade certification or whatever you want to call it. It's in its case. But it's got creases, right? So, but it survived. That comic book that has some, either there could be misprint where the cover's slightly off, or it can have a little bit of wear and tear, that has a greater value than it was issued the very first time it was created, because it shows history in the making. It showed its transition. It's got DNA prints on it. It's got everything. It's really cool. That artifact, even a copy of that, will have a greater value, and you could do trade, because there is no necessarily no one needs money out in space. And whether it's like figures or dolls or anything artistic that's made on the planet is going to have a greater value, even replicated. And you can even like attach like some type of replication symbol on it. Like, oh, this is replication number 1. I mean, we do that anyways, where we like have multiple or limited edition. You could think of it as limited edition, except for the replicator can identify it as like, okay, it's been replicated 222 times. But someone wanted it enough just so they can, you know, take that comic book, put it in the little levitating, you know, like round basin, watch it spin around, and then they can touch the screen and create a holographic copy of it and read and enjoy the comic book right then and there. Or they can walk around the ship and enjoy the story. And when they're done, they just close it. It disperses in energy and they go on with their day. And they're like, wow. So they could go to a museum. I think it's, and believe me, as an interstellar being, you bet your ass that I'm going to have a giant comic collection. You know, Batman, Superman, you name it. I'll take it up there. I don't care if I have to time travel back. Maybe I'll even throw a wrench in reality and see Jim Lee and have one of his future issues and him autographing it and saying, wait a minute, what's this? And then questioning reality. I'm like, oh, no, don't worry about that. But you can think about it if you want to have a look. So that would be my own timeline messing with the Earth.
So a master is a master no matter what. Everything else is a duplicate. And I agree with you to that point, because, you know, look at music. If it's a master, everything else is like second generation. It doesn't have the same exact sound. It's a little bit different in decibels or pitch and stuff. It's very, very minute, but it's still there. And I get what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. So anything master is the original copy. Everything else is the copy.
Yes. Do you know how many movies are out there that have been mass produced? And like, so you're watching the third or fourth generation of Indiana Jones, okay? And you notice every time this broadcast has been formatted to fit in this time slot, which means we've chopped it up, okay?
Not the original.
It's not the same thing. It's not the original thing. And so I go along with Brian there, and there's nothing like the original. You could replicate a 59 Gibson Les Paul with the humbucking pickups in it, and it's still not going to be $1 million guitar. But the original one that stood the test of time, that will be $1 million guitar. But I will say replicators are probably going to be a lot of fun in the beginning, but it ain't going to take too many years for everything to become bastardized real quick. And fraud and...
No, they can't be misused. They'll be issued, they'll be monitored, because again, it's the quantum system that monitors everything. So it's not to say that we're giving ourselves over to the system. We're working in tandem with the system. So it's not necessarily going to be where we'll replicate food. We will probably prefer growing food, or we'll have automated farming robotics that will harvest, that will plow the fields. We'll still grow food. We'll still eat oranges. I mean, I what's so funny, and people don't realize this. Here's the difference between 3D and 5D. And it's a slight nuance. In 3D, you have an orange. Okay? In 5D, you still have the same damn orange. It's still orange. It's just probably a bit bigger. It's the same. But it's lighter. It's got more nutrition. It's got more vitamins. It's got even a different caliber. So you think that, like, oh, you know, a lot of your plants, your vegetables are native to this world. I'm like, you may want to rethink that. People still eat bread. People still eat fish. Even in 5D. The difference is it depends on the race, and it also depends on the amount of consciousness, right? So you may prefer fish rather than eating a cow. And plus, it's quite different. And yes, you may eat replicated. There's a lot of races there, so it's just a different level. But a lot of the stuff that we eat is really, it's the same. A lot of the fruits, a lot of vegetables, they have been there. I know, because coconut has always been one of my favorites. Doesn't matter what dimension I'm in. So.
Did you say okra?
Coconut.
Coconut.
Oh, coconut. I was gonna say. That was good. Oh, okay. All right. I almost made a bad okra joke, but coconut's cool. Coconut. Did you watch the video on how to properly open a coconut?
Yes, I have seen it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was absolutely fascinating to me because you just, man, now that would be the bomb. I'm actually thinking about buying a coconut. Okay. Okay. Irish Lassie says, "What about dying bees?" Okay. Well, yeah, they're dying at an alarming rate. That not so much dying, but they're being executed. Okay. There's a lot of they're trying to affect. There's no background noise here, buddy. I got nothing on. Okay.
I was thinking something, but I think it's when I speak, then there starts to be then I start to hear interference. It's weird.
Like a train or a car moving. I don't know where it's coming from.
Well, we got nothing in this house. The only thing is me. So anyway, so the bees have been attacked by the cable guys, and yes, there won't be any garbage anymore because it's all molecular and down to atomic level. And you're absolutely right on that, Irish Lassie.
But that's a dereplicator. It's not a replicator. That's something that destabilizes the atoms and makes it go poof.
Yeah, I think what we'll have to get rid of our real garbage is probably going to be reptilian. Is my yeah, I got a gator in the back. It eats anything, tires, whatever. Yeah, that's the only good use I could think of for a reptile. Okay,
or invent a slime, a living slime that can just melt things and eat it, and that could work too.
Okay,
just don't hold it.
I've been talking about a lot of weird stuff, and I'm tonight, and Brian's trying to keep me on point, and so is Doc. But I want to share a video with you. I'm not going to show it on screen. But I have been damaged by a video. I've been emotionally damaged by a video that's on Facebook. Now, I'm sure that you guys, if you spend an hour or two on Facebook like I do, because I like reading the different stories and seeing what's going on in my world, and it's entertainment value anyway. But when I saw this, I mean, it just talking about it almost brings me to tears. I was telling Maria number one, and I was telling a couple other ladies today about this video. And I said, if you see this on Facebook, just scroll right by it because it's awful. And I know it's nature, and I know I'm already hearing Brian's response to it in my head. I mean, the order of things. Okay, I get it. But there was a baby, would be a 3 or 4 year old tiger, and it caught an antelope, baby antelope, on a highway in Africa. And the way that the baby antelope cried, it got it down, and it was, I don't know what it was doing, why it was waiting. It should have pounced and went for the neck and everything, but it didn't. It's just like it wanted to suffer and make it realize its own mortality. It broke my heart, and the thing was just going, and I just started bawling. I know it's okay. I know the order thing, Brian. I know what you're going to say. Okay.
Play with the food. That's what some do.
Yeah, I know, but oh man, all I wanted to do is get an air gun and shoot that tiger and go someplace else and eat a porcupine or something. For God's sakes, leave that beautiful baby antelope alone. And it just and it just sit there and tortured it. It didn't attack right away, and then it got up a little bit, moved about a foot, and and the tiger was right there on top of it, and people were watching it, parked on the side of the road, and they were watching it. Like, how could, I mean, I know it's nature, but me, I'd have done something.
Yeah, you would have been tiger food.
Huh? Yeah, I would have been. I had my foot up the tiger's ass. No, because I'm gonna tell you what. Okay, well, whatever it was, could have been a cheetah. Okay, I don't know. Thank you,
was
Tara.
waiting for its mother. It was waiting for the mother. The tiger was waiting for the mother to come.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, here I am
mother.
watching this potential smorgasbord on this poor little antelope, and it just broke me. I said, "Why am I watching this crap?" And I deleted it from my feed, and it just broke my. And so I've been damaged by that video. I never saw any blood, guts, or gore, but just the anticipation just it damaged me somewhat. I got to get over it. So as long as I don't watch this program again this time next week, I'll probably forget about it or block it out of my mind. So anyway, yeah, I know. And what in a perfect world, I would have been one of the people driving up, and I'd have had a bunch of roast beefs in the back, or half beast or something, and I'd have thrown that at the tiger and said, "Here, eat that," and let the thing go away. You know, this thing's already dead. You might as well eat that. You know, I don't know. That's just me being me, and I'm sorry. Hey, listen, RV protocol papers are $50. Send by Cash App or Zelle, 319-561-0064, Brian McFadden, and I'll send them to you by email. Make sure I have your email address or I can't send them to you. And if you want to make any love offerings, the same thing, 319-561-0064, Cash App or Zelle. If you'd like to order your protocol papers by mail, I will send them to you first by email, and that would be Brian McFadden, 504 12th Street, Fort Madison, Iowa, not Idaho, Iowa, 52627. If you are overseas, send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com, and I will send you a wise.com request for funds. And you can pay me that way if you're overseas. Yes, they do work overseas. And I thank you very much for your love donations. And now, since we're about 8 minutes from a lot of background noise, and Brian is muffled a bit. It's almost music going on.
Past tense. So it's
okay.
not.
All right. Hi, Denise. How are you? Okay. Here is yesterday's update from the intake officer. Just received this update. I'm going to explain it to you as I read it. Just received this update. On Thursday, tomorrow, D1 and D2 will be released. The funds have been released to the banks. That means D1 and D2 funds that have been released to the bank will start going out to people and groups. Still, the platforms can receive their funds and send out contracts, notices, and etc. Now, Tuesday, I was told the Admirals Group was completely... There's a better story. I like that, Love and Light. Tuesday, I got word that the Admirals Group went through. Completed. The guy that has a lot of contacts in Reno says, "Well, I never heard that." I said, "Okay, that's cool. That's cool." And I said, "The Presbyterians have been paid too." "Oh, I didn't hear that either." And I said, "Okay, well, it's true." Well, he called me today and he says, "Well, I want to know something. Where do you get your information from?" Because he says, "Everything you said to me was right." He says, "I never heard anything about it." Okay. Debbie Stevens is your APL Go representative. Send her an email to beamerstevens@me.com and email her now at beamerstevens@me.com. BEEMERSTEPHENS@me.com. Get your APL Go products from Debbie. She's still part of our team. She's just working a lot of hours. And her phone number is 515-314-4948. Now, we're getting all the commercials at the end, aren't we? Okay. Guys, try to keep the negative. Yes, Martha. Listen, I know. And when somebody would throw a mouse, even a mouse, throw a mouse in with a snake, it would I can't watch this crap. I can't watch it. I can't accept it. I hope maybe that's why I'm a higher vibration. I think people should be able to, and things should be able to absorb the energy that they need to exist instead of consuming things. And it's almost the thing that's going to turn me into a vegetarian. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because I am just, well, I had something very, very, very terrible for supper tonight. I had a bowl of potato salad. Okay. Those potatoes, I'll mourn them. But I'm laughing at myself now, making fun of myself. Okay, Doc G, I want to ask you, and first of all, I want to tell you something, Doc. I love you like a brother. I love you like no other. And I want you to know that I'm so grateful to you to give us this platform to broadcast on. And guys, listen, show your support to hamiltonradio.net. Okay? Go on there, request some songs. They've even got a place in there where you can make a donation on the homepage. What's $5 going to hurt you? Okay? I mean, really. And hamiltonradio.net, listen, I'm going to tell you a little secret just between several thousand of us and me, okay? When I get liquid, that guy and I are going to be working together all the time, okay? I just going to tell you, when I get liquid, okay? I'm not liquid yet, but when I get liquid, okay? I love that guy, and the work that he does is phenomenal, and he's been in business for 28 years, and it's been a rough 28 years because most of the time he's doing it all solo. So, guys, support the channel if you can, and listen to Hamilton Radio. If you want to hear the music that you used to hear when you were a kid, there it is. Just sit back, wait 3 or 4 songs. You're going to hear it. I love it when he goes on a tangent for the Beatles and REO Speed Cookie and all the other, I heard one I hadn't heard in a long time on the station the other day. You played Yummy, 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 I got love in my tummy. I feel like loving you. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just sitting there going, wow, it's been like 50,000 years since I heard that one. Okay. HamiltonRadio.net. It rocks. Doc, what is your final thoughts tonight?
My final thoughts are probably, I always echo the same thing, but I'm going to say something different this time. Just make sure your family's taken care of. That's, I had a couple issues with health this last week, and it really, really hones you back to what's really important in your life. The only thing that's important in my life is my kids, my wife. That's it. The house is, it's not really anything but a building. It's a home when people are in it, but just please help your family as best you can, whatever way you can, and help people around you. I try to do a lot of stuff. I was even thinking, Chase, a chance of even doing some of these songs and donate money to the homeless for it, if I get any money for it, because I think it's a good idea. Maybe the pet, shelters and stuff like that. So I'm using my music for good. That's what I want to do, and I use the station for good. So I want everybody to do the same thing. Just treat everybody in your family the best way you can. Hug them, love them, kiss them, because we don't know if tomorrow it's not promised for us.
Excellent. What about you, Fascinating Brian? What's your final thoughts?
So my final thoughts are, family's important, but you are the most important being on this planet. So please set your terms and conditions, be transparent, learn to restructure word phrases so you can negotiate better toward family members, toward friends and such. And if you need a greater caliber of assistance and tools and knowledge and wisdom, you can contact me and leave a message. I'll get back with you. 774-208-2377. And if you want to get to know your higher self, I can give you tools also, so that way you can. That's it.
Guys, my final thoughts for tonight. Thank you, Brian. My final thoughts for tonight are, you guys, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And I feel the love when you guys send me donations. I feel the love when you order the RV protocol papers. And I feel the love when you say nice things about me on Chance's live chat on Group 2 on Telegram. And when I get letters and cards like that, and even if there's $10 in it or $5, it's just, I feel the love. And I thank you so much. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative. And I want you to know, in my own way, I love you all. Okay? And it's very, very important that you share the love with everybody in your life. Whether it be the garbage man, the mailman, the lady at the store, because they might not have gotten even a little tad bit of love from anybody. They might not even have got a smile from anybody. And that maybe their situation is that they're so lonely that just a smile from you could brighten up their day. So guys, thank you for sharing the love with me. I'm Chance McFadden, Doc G, Fascinating Brian. We'll see y'all back here next week. God bless and be safe.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.